normal imports, that is excluding import of gold, diamonds and precious stones and jewelry into India from 6 months to 12 months from the date of shipment of such imports made on or before July 31st, 2020. The next set of measures relate to measures to ease the financial stress. The RBI had earlier on two separate occasions, on March 27th and on April 17th, when I made statements in the media. The RBI had announced, on both these occasions, certain regulatory measures pertaining to granting of 3 months moratorium on term loan installments. That is the first one we had announced. 2, deferment of interest for 3 months on working capital facilities. 3, easing of working capital financing requirements by reducing margins or reassessment of working capital cycle. 3, exemption from being classified as defaulter in supervisory reporting and reporting to credit information companies. 5, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm just listing out. It's possible that I missed to, that exemption probably was number 5, exemption from being classified as defaulter. I think that was 4. The 5th point is extension of resolution timelines for stressed assets. And the 6th point was asset classification standstill by excluding the moratorium period of 3 months. So all these measures we have announced on 27th of March and on April 17th, essentially arising from, this 3 months time we gave, 3 months moratorium we allowed on the term loans, then on working capital we allowed certain relaxations and associated measures. In view of the extension of the lockdown and continuing disruptions on account of COVID-19, the above measures are being further extended by another 3 months from 1st June till 31st August, taking the total period of applicability of the measures to 6 months. That is from 1st March to 31st August 2020. The lending institutions are being permitted to restore the margins. Now, this is another announcement which I would like to draw your attention to. The lending institutions are being permitted, not only with regard to working capital, we are extending the time limit by another 3 months, but the lending institutions are being permitted to restore the margins for working capital to their original levels by 31st March 2020. This is one area where we had given 3 months time now. We are now giving time that the margins which the reduced margins, that will be restored by 31st March, which will make it easier for borrowers to sort of manage their finances, manage their cash flow in a gradual manner. Similarly, the measures pertaining to reassessment of working capital cycle are being extended up to 31st March 2021. Additionally, it has been decided to permit lending institutions to convert the accumulated interest on working capital facilities over the total deferment period of 6 months, that is from 1st March to 31st August, into a funded interest term loan, which shall be fully repaid during the course of the current financial year ending 31st March 2021. Now, this is one area where we had received a lot of representations, not only from banks but also from the real sector borrowers. They were saying that the earlier deferment of interest which RBI had permitted, that meant that the entire interest component, the entire accumulated interest during the 3 months moratorium had to be sort of paid back to the bank in one shot. Obviously, it was posing problems in cash flow management for the various borrowers, for the various borrowing entities. So taking this into account, we have now decided that it will be converted into, the deferment of the working capital during the 6 months period. They will be converted into a funded interest term loan, which will be fully repaid during the course of the current year, that is during the next few months, and the payment shall be completed by 31st March. This will provide considerable amount of ease, and this will facilitate easier cash flow management by the borrowing entities. In view of the current difficulty in raising resources from capital markets, the group exposure limit of banks is being increased from 25% to 30% of eligible capital base for enabling the corporates to meet their funding requirement from banks. The increased limit will be